What's up, everybody? We're back again, the Coach Potatoes, with episode 18. The NFL season just ended, so we're going to go through our awards. We're going to recap, I think, who we picked, if we can remember, but who we think is going to win the awards now that the regular season is over. We'll go through the sort of beginning of the NFL draft for next year based on where teams ended up at the end of the season. And then we'll obviously go through our playoff predictions. But first, we're going to recap Week 17, the games that mattered. Pretty much the only ones that mattered, I think, were all in the afternoon. I don't think any morning game mattered at all.
Yeah, literally every morning game did not have any impact on the playoffs. First thing, I'm just going to put this out there before we start talking about the scores. Ben got our records done finally. It only took us literally the entire season to get it done. Shocker, shocker. I had the most wins. Granted, it's not a perfect match to how many games that were actually played because we missed a couple of weeks on our picks. But I finished at 165, 56, and 1. Bill finished in last.
Glad you said that second.
Yeah, I had to put that in there. 160, 61, and 1. And Ben was a close second to last.
Oh, if there's anything we've learned from Bill's tour to Tucson, let's just say Bill finished third. We won't mention that there was only 3 people.
It's true.
We'll just say that we'll just finish
I had the third highest.
We'll say that he placed. He got bronze.
He did get the bronze medal. He brought it home. Bringing home the pride. So yeah, it was. We were all within 4 games of each other, 5 games, between me and Bill.
Records were actually pretty good. We did better than. We basically got 3 out of every 4 almost right.
Essentially,
pretty close to that.
Actually, I looked at it was like 72. I was 72%.
Yeah, so basically 3 out of 4. Which is
the
pretty
shittiest one was 72%.
Maybe next
Third place, not shittiest.
Maybe next season we'll actually put money on it and make it useful. That's the time we'll go fucking 0.24 win percentage.
We'll get them all wrong.
I do make bad decisions with money, so let's do that.
That is true, though. We do straight up versus spread. So I wonder what our records are against the spread. We'll do that next year.
We don't want you to. I want to you do this.
Yeah, Jesus. I'll fucking retire by the time you get that done. All right, so going into the afternoon games, because the morning games didn't mean shit. Though, shout out to the Lions for fucking goose-egging the Packers. Just throwing that out there. The Packers are fucking stupid. They got what they deserved. Fuck you, Packers. I don't even like you, but Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. You had no reason to play him, and now you got a concussion. Absolute stupidity.
Rodgers won this.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
He's already hurt.
They paid him.
The coach
they
is the coach.
They are his thing.
The coach.
You sit your thing down.
It's like, whoever's the interim coach, I don't give a shit. Hey, it's my job to tell you and make the best decision for the team. You're sitting. We literally can play for nothing. We can impact nothing. Why are you playing?
Hey, dumbass, we just paid you over 100,000. Sit your ass down.
100,000. I think all of them are making over
100 million. We want to make 100,000.
So that was just a quick side note.
Stupid.
Well, this was an afternoon game. It's obviously at the top for me because the Bears are one of my favorites. Bears beat the Vikings 24-10. Kirk Cousins. Bill, credit to Bill. He called it pretty much all year long. Kirk Cousins chokes. He chokes big donger in the big games. He's 4-25 against teams with winning records.
Glad you brought that up.
How do you
pay that man that much money? It's not like he was, 4-0 in those big games. He didn't just lose 25 games in the season. How do you pay a man that much money knowing that?
I think he put up big numbers in Washington, regardless of the win-loss thing. He just put up big numbers, and I think that's what they're going to use as far as their justification for giving him $84 million. But good God, the Vikings needed something. They needed some help.
The Vikings were probably the most confusing team all year because
they weren't Stan Cousins.
Yeah, but I think, as Bill would say, if you compare them 1-to-1, I think Cousins is better than Keenum. And last year they went 13-3, right? I think, or 12-4, something like that.
I think they went 12-4.
They went to the NFC
and wanted to win the
championship game.
Yeah, they did because they beat the Saints, I think, or did they not get a bye?
The Eagles beat the
Rams in the divisional.
No, the Rams went out first round to Atlanta.
They didn't make it to the NFC Championship game because the Eagles
So the Vikings must have played the wild card game, beat the Saints.
Wait a minute. No, you're right. The Eagles beat
They made
the
the NFC
Vikings.
Championship game.
The Eagles
Yeah.
beat the Vikings.
And the
NFC
championship
Championship
game.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they made
you're
the
right.
championship game with Keenum. And they basically upgraded a quarterback, and then everything else was the same. And Thielen had an even better year. So it's like, while I agree that Cousins sucks against good teams, arguably I would say he's still a better quarterback than Keenum was. I think the Vikings' defense wasn't as good. I think their run game
To
wasn't.
be
as
fair,
good.
their defense it's still good. I just don't think.
Well,
Well, I mean,
nearly as dominant
statistically,
as last
it's weird because statistically, their defense is phenomenal. Like yards against, all that shit, they're very good. But I agree with you. It just felt different. I think last year their defense just seemed to dominate games. This year that just didn't happen. At least not consistent.
Look at a better running game this year because they have Cook was healthy all minus a couple games at the beginning. He was. Well, you know what? They had Jerick McKinnon last year.
Yeah.
That's probably what
Their run game was, I think, better last year. They had some good games this year, and then Thielen arguably had a better year, and Diggs was good again. So it was just a weird how they got better at quarterback on paper. They didn't really lose anyone else. Thielen had a better year, but then they ended up going from NFC Championship game to not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
This was the most interesting game in general because the Bears were in a unique spot where they basically were in control of who they wanted to play. Because I think anybody with brain knew that the Eagles were probably going to beat the Josh Johnson-led Redskins, which they did. So the Bears pretty much knew that if they wanted to play the Vikings again, they could just sit everyone and play the Vikings again.
Yeah.
They went out there and I get it, they were playing for the 2 seed, but they also could have saw at halftime that the Rams were up a decent amount.
They did. Nagy in his post-game conference said he saw the score at halftime. I think I remember reading stuff before the game happened. A lot of the Bears players had the first encounter in mind because that was the game Trubisky got injured because Harrison Smith injured him when he slid.
Yeah,
he hit him late, and so the Bears went into that mentality of this game saying we're going to fuck you guys up and we're going to eliminate you. And they did.
They eliminated. So that's all good and dandy. But if I was a Bears fan, I would rather have played the Vikings again.
Normally, I would agree. I think the Vikings are a worse team than the Eagles are. However, Bill has said it many a time. I agree with this statement. Playing a team 3 times in one season is very risky. No matter, even if you just look at us, yes, the Bears are the better team. But you give a team 3 shots at you, it just doesn't lay in your face.
That last shot doesn't really count. I mean, you're playing just. They had 1.5 shots. Because their second shot, they would be playing your third string players. That's not really a shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's even then. I don't know. I wouldn't want to see the team a third time. And so, obviously going into the game, I agreed with the sense, you have to go in and play for the 2, because you don't know what can happen. The Rams ended up just dropping a huge dump on the Niners' chest, pretty much from the get-go. But, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It was an interesting spot because after halftime, it was kind of the Bears could sit everybody because it doesn't mean anything anymore. We know the Rams are up 4 touchdowns already, so who cares? But
I don't know if I agree that you would rather play Eagles over the Vikings because the Eagles are the exact same, what you're just talking about, right?
I'd rather play the Vikings. That's what I said. I don't want to play the Eagles.
Then I agree.
Because Foles has nothing to lose.
Then I agree. Then I absolutely agree because they're in a position like the Vikings were when they traded Keenum and Cousins, right? Supposedly the better QBs in there, so they should be doing better. Eagles in the exact same position. Only thing is, both QBs are on their team, but with Foles, that is the right fit for that team,
right,
as opposed to Wentz. That's so. I would agree. I wouldn't want to play the Eagles over the Vikings. With that said, I agree with you. The Vikings as a whole are a better team.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough spot to be in. I don't think either team are a great.
And actually, Foles got injured.
He did get injured. He had bruised ribs.
I think he's going to.
Oh,
I think he's going to play, but you wonder, is he still going to be impacted by it at all? Obviously, against a team that can rush like we are, that's definitely in the back of their heads. But all right, so let's move forward. Browns Ravens. Oh, Browns. We picked against you. However, I would have liked to see it just because it would have been cool to see you guys play spoiler.
You picked the Browns?
No, I picked the Browns.
We picked the Ravens. He picked the Browns.
Don't look so crazy. They almost won.
Ravens are a different team with Lamar Jackson.
We talked about it last week. They run the ball. They control the clock. Their
Very
defense
well.
is fucking good. They have one of the best defenses in the league. That's a recipe for success in playoff football.
But with that said, yeah, Browns almost won. And
Can't give up 26 to the Browns.
24.
Yeah, Baker on that last drive remembered he was on the Browns and was like, "Oh, we can't win this game. We'll have a winning record."
Where's the defensive lineman I can throw this ball to? There you
There
are.
he is.
So yeah, the Ravens are a team that I don't think a lot of teams in the AFC want to play. Anytime you have to play a stifling defense like that and a team that can just run the ball like crazy,
And they're
I don't think
for at
any
least this
team-
first game.
I don't think any team in the AFC wants to play any of the team in the AFC. I don't think you want to play the Colts either.
I definitely don't think you want to play the
So-
Colts.
You don't want to play the Chargers either.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Well, that'll be a great matchup. It's going to be Ravens Chargers, first round in that 4-5. God, man. That's what was so interesting about the AFC playoff race. Was arguably the best team, but probably the second best team in the AFC is the 5 seed. So we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Well, let's talk about the team that was affected by the Browns-Ravens game. The team that is not in the playoffs now, the Steelers.
They did what they had to do. They won.
Barely.
They barely beat the Bengals, but they did win.
Without Antonio Brown. With that said, they still should have beaten them more.
Yeah, without Antonio Brown.
Well, let's talk about him now that we're here.
Fucking douchebag. So, okay, I think it was today that all the news kind of started breaking, or maybe it was yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday and today.
Antonio Brown's not happy. He doesn't like Tomlin. He got into it with Roethlisberger, which is why he didn't even play in the game on Sunday. Being a little prima donna and bullshit like that. And now he's looking to get traded. I agree with a lot of the expert takes, and they should shop him. Get rid of him. Like, you didn't make the playoffs with him. Who gives a shit? And you've got Juju, who's arguably better, and he's younger.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Big Ben said on Pittsburgh radio, I forget which one it was, that he tried to come out and say that he didn't get into an argument with Antonio Brown, and that if there was an argument, he didn't see it.
You didn't see that football
What?
going straight to
Because
his
the
face?
reports say that Antonio Brown threw a football at him.
Well,
What do you mean you didn't see it?
I'm just telling you what I heard that he said on the radio.
To be fair, it could be like a QB thing where it's like, he threw me the ball. He's not supposed to throw the QB the ball. I could sprain my thumb.
So,
If it was anybody but Big Ben, I would agree. But Big Ben plays with literally his whole body being broken.
He's a big
Give
boy.
shit.
I mean, Big Ben also came out and said that the Le'Veon Bell thing was a distraction, which was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Hypocritical, because earlier in the year when they were like 7-2-1, he said that there was a distraction. And then all of a sudden they don't make the playoffs, and now Le'Veon Bell is a distraction.
Right.
So,
You know what I'm also hearing as a problem? Big Ben likes to talk a lot. He needs to
doesn't
not
take
do
no
that.
for an
as
answer.
well. Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, before we point the finger at Antonio Brown, maybe there's some Big Ben Roethlisberger talk. I'm sure that there's some on both sides, but I feel like there's a lot of this Antonio Brown thing. Now, I've always liked Mike Tomlin. Ben Roethlisberger, I can take it or leave it. But, I mean, for them, if you don't want Antonio Brown there, I would trade him, but I'm not against Antonio Brown where I would be like, the Titans, you better fucking go try to get Antonio Brown, like, now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's this? Ryan Clark, who I was ex-Steeler, where he's an analyst now on ESPN. He had talked. He was a DBA. He had talked about playing with Antonio Brown and how he would be on his fucking phone and doing social media bullshit and team meetings
Shocker.
and stuff when Tomlin's talking and all that type of stuff.
Now,
So
so
it's
it's
like-
gave him money, become a monster.
Well, exactly. It's one of those things where all of a sudden you think everybody's just has to kiss the ground you walk on type thing just because you're one of the guaranteed top 3 receiver in the league, arguably the best receiver in the league. But it's we've mentioned it before with Le'Veon Bell and just other guys just being prima donnas about bullshit. It's like, dude, you are getting paid fucking big money.
That's
Like,
my
why
biggest-
are you why are you doing this? Like, what do you have to gain?
That's my biggest issue with him. He got paid. He's been paid. He's been paid. No, you play. I don't see what the problem is.
That's where he differs from Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell was fighting for a contract, trying to get paid. They didn't want to pay him. Browns already got it.
Even Odell shut up when he got paid. Sure, he still talks to the media, blah, blah, blah. He still played. As shitty as they were, he still played.
Until he got injured.
Slinging the ball in a while. To be fair, he got injured. But, he didn't do this. Chuck balls at Eli Manning's face, who probably couldn't catch it, and he would have gotten concussed. But even Odell Beckham, the biggest prima donna of them all, got paid and played.
Yeah.
Even sling that ball.
Antonio Brown played all year.
What I'm just saying is he should not be this pissy.
And now he's going to come out and demand a trade all of a sudden? Like, come on, man. That's just weak. And so I hope they do shop him. That's like, honestly, I hope they just release him and nobody signs him. That'd be good.
No one's not going to.
Yeah, that's what everybody said about Le'Veon Bell. Look at him.
Because he's still under the Steelers.
Yeah, you can't sign him.
When's he eligible to be signed?
You can't because he didn't report, so technically he didn't get a year on the Steelers contract. So technically the Steelers still own him for next year.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was like the whole
I hope
thing.
they don't play every
That was like the whole thing where he had to report by week 10 or something.
right, because he couldn't play. I didn't know that meant he had to another year.
Yeah, because he didn't play, so he doesn't his 4-year deal. If he played
still
one, that year's still on there. So he didn't lose the year on his deal.
Oh, that's fantastic. I hope they just.
So that's why they thought he would report, and then he ended up not reporting anyway. So it's just, I don't know. Maybe the Steelers shot both, but
Antonio Brown's 30. He's starting to creep up, even though he's still one of the best.
No, would you?
Well, he already got paid.
Would you trade a first-round pick this year for Antonio Brown?
Rams, no.
I don't know if I would give him a first round.
You wouldn't give him a first-round pick. That's probably going to be what? You're in the top 12 teams, so it's going to be at worst, at best, 20th pick.
Well, to be fair, we've already
So, even the Titans, if they have the 18th to 19th pick, I would trade that for Antonio Brown.
Browns to the Raiders?
I told Bill earlier. The rumor mill is San Francisco.
Well, that's just because Kittle put on
Yeah,
Twitter.
that's what he was saying.
But AB also followed the Niners on Instagram, so that means he's getting signed tomorrow.
Called it.
But yeah, I mean it's a mess. The Steelers, all their star players want to leave. Outside of Big Ben, Juju.
There's a couple things with this. One, it doesn't matter how great you are. NFL teams don't like to deal with that. Randy Moss is probably the best receiver of his generation, and he was on 4 different teams. People didn't want to deal with his attitude. Yeah. T.O., same thing. Didn't want to deal with his attitude. His attitude is the only reason why he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. Because number-wise, he was automatic first ballot Hall of Famer all day long. So, if anything, they're not going to put up with the attitude. But that being said, there's always a team that's like, well, we haven't done it in a while, so we'll sign him. So, that's what it's going to be. The one thing I always question with wide receivers is, when you change teams, are you good, or was your quarterback good? That's always the biggest question. Right? Because Roethlisberger's thrown for 5,000 yards before Antonio Brown was there. I think Antonio Brown is good, but his numbers might not be as good if he plays with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Not only that, he's an undersized receiver. People forget that. As good as he is, he's not just as tall as Beckham. Beckham's kind of short too.
Well, he is. Well, Beckham's also the fastest player on the field every time he walks out there. So
he's not like Julio Jones, or Calvin Johnson. He's not like those size guys.
Well, I think Garoppolo is good. Big Ben has learned how to play with Antonio Brown, to throw the back shoulders on certain things. His numbers probably aren't going to be as good with Garoppolo. And for, like Ryan Clark said, Antonio Brown doesn't care about winning the games. He cares about 14 targets, 10 catches, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You might not get that on the 49ers. So if that's really what he wants.
Yeah.
So,
when I was telling TJ, but also to your point, Ben, about, is it Antonio Brown or is it Ben? But they also have other weapons that they have to worry about besides Brown. They had Bell. You had Bell.
And Connor was good this year.
Yeah, Connor was good. You had the tight end, Vance McDonald, who got his touches. Jesse James is also out there. Juju
was a problem for number one corners, let alone the team's second.
Exactly.
You had 200-plus reception receivers on that team.
Yeah. Well, it's like when they played the Saints. The Saints tried to double Brown and Juju, and it still didn't work. Yep. So it's just
He's in a perfect position where even if he's not getting his touches, he's going to get, well, when he does get his touches, he's going to shine. And he's leaving all that for what? A shitty team? That he can just be the number one receiver, get double teamed, and he still doesn't get the ball? I don't know what he's complaining about, is my thing. I don't know. He got paid, he's on a good team. I think if they didn't mismanage like Ben during the Raiders game, they won that game during the playoffs. Of course, they also lost to the Broncos, and I'm sure they should have beat. They tied with the Browns that they should have beat early in the season. They did a lot of stupid things, but they were one win away from being in the playoffs, and they had a shit ton of.
Yeah, up until week 16, they were in the playoffs. So yeah, I don't quite understand the outrage from him, but whatever.
The playoffs.
Yep. So enjoy your couch. Eagles took a dump on the Skins, which they had to do. So with the Bears beating the Vikings and the Eagles getting a win, the Eagles have snuck in that 6th seed. The Chiefs, boy oh boy, did they destroy the Raiders. Mahomes got it done. Chiefs take the 1 seed, get the division, get home field throughout the playoffs. The Chargers did win. Obviously, they were playing for the division title as well. If Kansas City would have lost, they would have won. They could have took the 1 seed, but they handled business. The Rams gave up some garbage time points, so the score is a little closer than the game actually was, 48-32. But they pretty much from the get-go made sure that they were going to keep the 2 seed.
First 3 possessions for the Niners. Fumble, pick.
Yeah, it wasn't the best showing for Mullins. He had too many turnovers early, and even though he ended with 3 touchdowns, you can't throw 3 picks.
I think their 4th possession was also.
Yeah, not good.
That's how you lose.
Yeah, that's the recipe for losses. So the Rams lock up the 2 seed. They'll get home field for their game as well. And then Seattle wasn't playing for anything, but they squeaked out a win against the Cardinals. And then the Sunday night game, which had the last seed in the AFC up for grabs, Colts-Titans. Colts put it down on the Titans. Blaine Gabbert. The Titans got to figure out the quarterback situation. Mariota's trash, and so is Gabbert. Derrick Henry's
you go get Haskins.
Yeah, you guys might. I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans try and make some trade moves to move up a little bit to take somebody like that.
No, I think they're giving Mariota another year.
Why?
To be fair, aside from Haskins, maybe they go for Tua.
He's not. He can't play. He can't draft.
He wait till next year. I think maybe. I mean, so an interesting stat. So Mariota stats are not that great as a passer in this passing age, but since he's been in the league, he's one of only like 3 quarterbacks that has led their team to 3 winning seasons in a row.
Has he led them as a defense? He's got a good defense.
They have, but regardless, there's teams with other good defenses that haven't had 3 winning seasons in a row either.
That's kind of a doo-doo stat, though, because you're also not including Goff, who he's on his 2nd season. He sucked his 1st season. He didn't play the whole time. You're not including Mahomes, who I guarantee you will win 3 winning seasons. You're not including Trubisky, as much as I feel about him. You're excluding a lot of QBs in that stat.
We're like 2-year quarterbacks. He's rookie in 15.
So you're saying since he's been
it was on, like
since he's been on the Titans, he has had a winning season. What you're saying?
They did not the first year, but 16, 17, and 18. The last 3 years they had 3 in a row.
And you're excluding a lot of QBs that have been in the league even for 3 years.
Okay, but I'm not excluding people like Aaron Rodgers, who was not on the list, or Drew Brees, who was not on the list.
He hasn't had a winning season the past 3 years.
Third year.
You have to have it 3 in a row. 3 winning seasons in a row.
He didn't?
I'll have to try to find the stat. But it was Mariota, Brady.
It has to be Dak. Dak's had a winning season his first 3 years. This would be his 3rd.
Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, and Marcus Mariota. That's the list of quarterbacks that have led their teams to 3 straight winning seasons. And that's despite Mariota having 3 head coaches and offensive coordinators in the last 4 years.
Well, I don't trust that. This is his 3rd season.
They didn't have a winning record last year. I think they went 8-8.
regardless, Mariota's trash. He's not the answer to the Titans. That's that aside. He's good. All right. You need a guy that can lead you.
I want to know, what did you guys do those 3 seasons?
We beat the Chiefs last year.
Well, to be fair, Goff got a winning record last year, and what did he do? Oh, that's right. First round.
I'm just saying. I'm not throwing a stat like Goff has 2. If you're going to throw that stat around,
I'm not sitting here saying Goff is absolute trash.
I'm very critical of my team. I don't like what I've been seeing from that whiteboard.
My point is with Mariota is that I think if you put Mariota on the Bears, they have just as good a record.
I don't think so. I will shockingly say I trust Trubisky more than Mariota.
Okay, let's see what happens.
No, we won't, because he's in the playoffs and Mariota's not.
Well, as of right now, Mariota has 1 playoff win while your 2 quarterbacks have 0. So let's get 1 playoff win first.
You know what?
Also,
So does Tebow.
I know. I didn't hate Tebow.
I hate Tebow.
Maybe when Goff and Trubisky throw a touchdown pass themselves, just give me.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Wow.
Anyway, Colts take the 6th seed. So that
Titans would have won
it.
if Mariota played. I'm putting that out there, though.
I am not putting that out there at all.
Because the Colts were only up 3 with fucking Gabbert in the game. And then he threw like 3 picks in the 4th. So,
That's the Gabbert we know.
Yeah. So that's the playoff picture. So now,
So Blaine Gabbert should have called him David Blaine. He makes wins disappear.
wow.
nice.